Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Deandra Levon. If you are new here, thanks so much for stopping by. I really hope you stick around. I talk about natural hair, I do vlogs, lifestyle, fashion, all types of stuff over here. So if that's something that you're interested in, then I hope you join the clique and subscribe. Alright y'all, so it is literally, let me look at what time it is. It is 11:19 p.m. and I just decided to come on here and do this video. So this particular video is a little bit different from a lot of the other videos on my channel. I am a master's student and I'm pursuing my license and master's degree in clinical mental health counseling for children and adolescents. So I've done like a few update videos on my channel about how my program is going and just kind of letting you guys know where I am in the journey, but I have purposely refrained from doing a lot of like mental health counseling videos just because I just want to wait until I feel more confident in what I'm talking about and I really want to get to the point where I feel like I'm closer to being an expert on the topic, because the thing with me is I don't want to come and give you guys any content that I cannot 100% vouch for, things that I have not experienced. Like, I want to bring you guys information that is super accurate and things that I can back up. And because I'm still a student, there's still so much for me to learn, you guys. So that is why I have not done a lot of counseling type of videos yet. But this particular topic, it just kind of, how can I say this? I mean, it just really hit a little bit different for me. And I don't know if it's because I'm a black woman and the issue is involving a black female therapist, but regardless, I just wanted to kind of sound off and give my opinion about this particular situation. Alright, so if you are unsure about what I'm talking about, I am talking about Nicole Lewis, who is a black female therapist. On her Twitter page, she has that she is a licensed mental health therapist, and her actual credentials that she has listed after her name are LCSW, which stands for Licensed Clinical Social Worker, and LICSW, which stands for Licensed Independent Clinical Social Worker. So basically, this black woman is licensed. She is a licensed social worker, whereas I am pursuing my license in clinical mental health counseling, but both are very, very similar. So this is what she tweeted. She said, "I'm no longer accepting male clients. They get in my email inbox and want me to prove why they should choose me as a therapist. No scheduled consultations or nothing to see if we are a good fit. I'm not the one or the two to prove my worth to anyone. We would not work well together because you already trying me, and I'm not above going off on nobody. If you try me before the therapeutic relationship starts, I know you out here being a menace to folks, and that's gonna activate my nervous system. So nah, it's a wrap." So y'all, this particular tweet went viral. It has 6.8 million views, 2,400 quotes, 1,300 retweets, 13,000 likes. Like, it's been going crazy. And she tweeted this on the 9th. All right, so obviously after she tweeted this, there was a lot of dialogue and she received quite a bit of backlash from men, especially black men. All right, so that is a point that I'm going to discuss a little bit in this video. But I think it's important to note that she did not specifically say that she was not going to see black men. She said she wasn't going to accept any new male clients, period. So that's across the board. But yet, a lot of the backlash seemed to be aimed at her from black men, all right? So first of all, I think what needs to be cleared up is that counselors do not have to work with and see every single person. That is false. I don't know where people got that from, but it's not the truth. So counselors are allowed to and even encouraged to specialize in whatever target population they would like to work with. So for instance, I am literally pursuing my degree in clinical mental health counseling with an emphasis on children and adolescents. So I made that decision before I even started any of my courses. And because that is the track that I'm on, a lot of my courses have to do with children and adolescents. So I have classes that are about like childhood development and childhood trauma, family therapy, those sorts of things, because that's the track that I'm on. I could have pursued the track of family therapy or marriage therapy, couples therapy. Like there's so many ways that you can kind of pick and choose what you want to specialize in. You can even specialize in addictions if you want to, or trauma if you want to. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's also nothing wrong with saying, I want to work with just men, or I want to work with just women. Like, we're allowed to do that in our field. But for some reason, people felt like she was behaving unethically because she didn't want to work with men, and that is not the case. There is nothing that prevents us from making that type of decision. And for me, I always knew that I wanted to work with children and adolescents because I didn't want to work with adults. Like, I'm sorry, but I did not want to work with adults. And there were multiple reasons why I did not want to work with adults. But the primary reason was that I feel like working with children allows me to establish a foundation for healthy mental health practices, versus if I'm trying to work with adults, a lot of times we're already stuck in our ways by the time we become adults, and it's just a lot more difficult, I feel like. So that's the primary reason why I wanted to work with children. And that's completely my prerogative. Like, I don't have to really explain to anybody why I don't want to work with them. If you do not fall into the age range of where my expertise is going to be, then I will have to refer you to another counselor, which is perfectly fine. And it is not unethical to do that. So I think that was probably the biggest takeaway, was that people really do not understand the counseling field. And to be honest, I don't think that's really their fault that they don't understand or that they don't have that type of knowledge about it. But a quick Google search could have prevented a lot of this misunderstanding. So now I just kind of want to focus on what she actually said. So a lot of people were just focusing on the fact that she said, oh, I don't want to work with black men. But she actually gave very specific reasons why she no longer wants to accept male clients. She didn't just wake up one day and say, I don't want to see male clients anymore. She laid out her reason, which was that she felt unsafe. Okay? So I think we need to just like unpack that a little bit. As women, we are often put in positions where we feel unsafe. And I think it's just something that isn't really spoken about a lot. And so people kind of feel uncomfortable when it's brought up. But after Nicole tweeted this, there were all types of women who were coming forward who were professionals in different areas. There were like masseuses, there were waxers, there were even people that worked in morgues and funeral homes, doctors, nurses, all types of people, all types of women specifically were coming out and saying, yeah, like, I kind of share the same experience as her. I also no longer like to work with men, or wish I could no longer work with men because I feel unsafe doing so. And so I feel like the conversation was kind of hijacked, and the real issue of why are all these women saying the same thing kind of gets brushed to the side. All right, so instead of it being a conversation about, okay, why do women feel unsafe in the workplace, or what are we as men doing to make women feel unsafe in the workplace, the conversation turned into, oh, she's not qualified to be a counselor or a therapist, social worker, because she doesn't want to see everybody. And it's like, no, like, you can't just remove somebody's qualification just because you want to. Like, they were literally sending her death threats. They were sending her SA threats. Like, they were trying to call her licensing board, trying to get her license revoked. And it's just like, y'all are doing all this because she doesn't want to allow y'all access to her. Like, she's telling you, I don't want to see y'all anymore because I feel unsafe doing so. And your response is to make her feel even more unsafe. It's very interesting. It reminds me of how women always say that they don't come forward with SA and with all types of allegations against men because they're afraid of the backlash that's going to happen if they do. And it's pretty much being proven in this case with Nicole. She came forward with her very specific reasonings for why she no longer wants to see men, and she was met with death threats. And we don't feel like that's a problem. Like, I don't know. I think that's a major issue. And as a Black woman, I think it's an even bigger issue because a lot of her backlash was coming from Black men, even though she didn't even specify Black men. She just said, I don't want to see men at all. Like, if she had said, I don't want to see Black men, I feel like people might have had a little bit more room to criticize. But the fact that she just said, I don't want to see men, like, she can do that. Like, there's nothing wrong with her saying that. But I really do feel like it was because she was no longer allowing access to them. She removed the access and they became angry. How dare this Black woman tell me that I can't have access to her? Even though I probably was never going to reach out to her ever for therapy in the first place, the fact that she has said, she has had the audacity to say that I cannot reach out to her makes me angry. Like, why does that make you angry? Like, that's something that needs to be unpacked. Why does that anger you so badly that you are sending her all types of threats online and calling her, leaving threats on her phone? Like, why? Like, what's up with that? It's kind of like when women tweet certain things and then men get triggered by it, even though he never would have been interested in the girl in the first place. But because she said, like, she would never date this, or this, they get so angry about it. It's the same type of situation. That lack of access really gets under their skin. Like, why is that? I want to read y'all another tweet that she did as a follow-up. So she said, Let me get this straight. 1, y'all got mad at a black woman therapist for telling men to get therapy. 2, y'all started saying men shouldn't see women therapists. 3, y'all didn't seek therapy from men. And 4, now y'all are telling me, a black woman therapist, that y'all should have access to me even though you don't want to work with women. Like, she made several points with that. Like, I saw so many men, black men, saying black women are always saying that black men need to go get therapy, but then when we try to get therapy, y'all turn us away. And it's like, two things can be true. Like, yeah, black men do need to get therapy, but so do white men, so do white women, so do black women, so do Asian women. Like, everybody needs therapy. Therapy is a great tool. But what does that have to do with this black female therapist saying that she does not feel safe counseling men? Like, they're two different things. They're not mutually exclusive. Black men can still need to get therapy, and this black woman can still be feeling unsafe providing therapy to men. Like, that's a thing. And the next thing that she talked about people saying that men shouldn't see women therapists, but yet y'all didn't seek therapy from men. It's like, okay, why aren't more black men going to black male therapists? Because that is an option. There are black male therapists. Like, even if all black women say we are no longer seeing black men as clients, y'all could still go to black male therapists, but you don't want to. And why is that? Why would you rather go to a black female therapist who says that I don't want to see men anymore versus going to a black male therapist that might only primarily see men? It's the lack of access that bothers you so badly, that you are like irate that although there are hundreds of counselors that you can go to, the fact that this one black therapist is telling you that you can't go to her, you're hyper focusing on that instead of searching for all the other ones that you can go to. I mean, if you came to me, I would say I can't see you either unless you are 17 and under, because I only do children and adolescents. So if you are a 30-year-old man, I wouldn't take you as a client. It's not because I have anything against you. You're just not the population that I specialize in. If you are a single person, you can't just go to a marriage counselor and say, hey, I want individual counseling from you. They're going to say, well, are you in a marriage? Are you in a couple? Because that's what I specialize in. So why is that okay, but what this woman is saying is not okay? What's the difference? And the next thing I think we need to look at is the accountability piece, because I feel like that is what is missing a lot in this situation. Instead of looking at why Nicole said what she said, it's a lot easier to just lash out at her. It's a lot simpler to just lash out and get mad and to bash her and all these things instead of actually dealing with what she's actually saying. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good to hear that there are men around you that are making women feel uncomfortable. Even if you're not one of the men that's making the women feel uncomfortable, it can still be maddening for you to feel like there's other men that are doing that. And so to deal with that, you ignore that piece. It's like we're going to slide that piece to the side and just focus on the fact that she said she's not going to see us anymore. Like, so many of them attached onto this, okay, but We're not all like that, so why would she cut off all of us just because a select few are doing this? And it's like, first of all, you don't know how few it was that were doing it, but even if it was just one, that's still one too many. And that could still push her to the point where she says, I don't want to see any men anymore. So why is that not the conversation? Why is the conversation not, dang, like, how can we as men hold each other accountable and make men that make women feel this way not feel like it's okay to do that? And I understand that all men cannot be everybody's keeper. Like, I get it. But there is a certain amount of lack of accountability within our culture in general. And women do it too. Like, if a black woman does something, a lot of other black women will turn their head because solidarity, like, it happens across the board. But that lack of accountability is keeping us from getting to where we're trying to get to. And it's actually causing a bigger divide instead of actually tackling the real issues. And a lot of the dialogue that I saw was about how all of these female therapists and female counselors, female social workers were coming out to show that type of solidarity with Nicole. And just basically letting people know, like, she didn't do anything wrong. Like, we're allowed to specialize. Like, she shouldn't be getting attacked this way. They were trying to, show people that they were on her side. But there weren't as many men, especially black male therapists, that were coming out to do the same thing. And women were holding their feet to the fire about it. And I mean, I noticed it too, y'all. I noticed a lot of silence from black men that were in agreement with her. And I feel like there were a lot of black men, and even black men that weren't therapists. I think there were a lot of black men that felt like what was happening to her was wrong, but there's that fear to speak up, or that fear that you are picking the wrong side. Or the few black men that I did see speak up, the comments were like, oh, she's still not gonna pick you, bruh. They felt like they were only sticking up for her because they were a pick-me, which is very sad and unfortunate. But I did see some black men standing up for what was right and saying, you know what, I know there are a lot of men around me and men that I've seen that make women feel uncomfortable, and it needs to stop, because that was the right thing to do. It just was. And here is a tweet from one person that I really felt like kind of covered everything that I feel. So this person, Felonious Monk, tweeted, the therapist didn't say anything wrong. Nothing. She didn't word it poorly. She shouldn't have kept it to herself. And if you feel a way about it, get therapy about why something she said in general bothers you on such a personal level. And that pretty much sums up the whole thing. She didn't say anything wrong, but why did it trigger you so much to have whole think pieces about her? To call to try to get her license revoked, which is a flop because you can't get her license revoked for that, I'm sorry. But why did you go through all that? Why did you try to humiliate her? Why did you try to bring her down a notch, humble her? Why? Because there's a reason for it. And I think if we really start to unpack the reason for it, it's even more sad and sinister than we even hardly realize. Because there's a reason. And for the people that kept saying, oh, well, I don't think she said anything wrong, but maybe she just shouldn't have put it on a public platform like Twitter and TikTok. that was unprofessional to put it on social media? Like, what's unprofessional about it? I think that's the question that has yet to be answered for me. Like, what is unprofessional about it? Like, I saw one girl on Twitter say, like, that she showed that she couldn't handle her emotions. And I literally quoted the tweet and I was like, what about anything that she said showed you that she couldn't handle her emotions? And I still did not get an answer for that, because the answer is nothing. She didn't say anything in that tweet that showed that she was angry or that she couldn't handle her emotions. That was all stuff that y'all attached to her. She never said any of that. And there's nothing wrong with her expressing herself. Even if she had been angry, she's allowed to express herself. Just because she's a licensed counselor doesn't mean that she can't express herself. Now, if she had went on there and put people's names and said this client XYZ did this, this, and this, then that could be an issue of ethics. That could be an issue of lack of professionalism, because you have to protect the privacy and security of your clients. That is literally in our ACA Code of Ethics. But talking in general terms, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I think people just assume things without actually having the real true facts and knowledge behind what they are saying. And that is why I felt like it was important for me as a counselor in training to come forward with this video and just kind of give you guys my own thoughts. Now, I understand that my thoughts are simply my thoughts and my opinions, but I do have some actual facts to go along with my opinions. And so that is why I wanted to come on here and talk to y'all. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope that you learned something. And I'm going to try to do more videos like this as I become more comfortable. Y'all, you know I can turn on this camera and talk about natural hair all day in a split second, because I know so much about natural hair in general. But I haven't quite gone to that level with counseling yet. But I'm slowly but surely getting there. And this is kind of like my little test, my little put my toes in the water, you know what I'm saying? Testing the waters to see how I feel about it and how you guys feel about it. So let me know your opinions. Let me know what you thought about this whole situation. Do you think that she was wrong? Do you think that she was right? I want to hear all of your thoughts. Even if I don't agree with them, I still want to read them so that I can learn what all of you guys are thinking. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That definitely helps the video to spread through the YouTube algorithm, so I would really appreciate it. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the clique. I would love to have you guys be a part of this family. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all next week in my next video. Bye.